So today we're changing out from our snow tires back into our regular summer tires, as it is now May in Arizona and don't need the studs on anymore. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't solve an annoying tire pressure warning light problem that's been on in the car ever since we bought it. So I've plugged into our control unit and have scanned the tire pressure system, and we've got 3 faults coming up. The first one is going to be the main one. That's the RDC system. That's the tire pressure monitoring system, and that says it's detecting a fault that is in the entire system. The other 2 are the front and rear transmitters. It can't see them. Now, the most common problem for this is the antenna, which is mounted underneath the vehicle, that fails. So we're going to go ahead and put in a new antenna and then reset and see if we can't reset our entire tire pressure system. Okay, so I've got the ignition on and the engine running, and you can see on our dash that we've got our tire pressure warning light on. And when I scroll through to actually go to our tire pressure system and hit the reset button, it comes up inactive. So let's go ahead and get that antenna changed and see if we can rectify the problem. So this is our antenna for our tire pressure monitoring system. It's a genuine only BMW part, and we'll show you where it is on the car. So our sensor is located underneath this plastic cover that I went ahead and removed. This just sits up in here. So I've just pulled that down, and our sensor is going to be clipped into a little plastic mounting piece right there. So I'm just going to go up in there, reach up in there, disconnect it from the mount, drop it down, and unplug it. There's our old transmitter. Doesn't look like anything's wrong with it, and we'll grab our new one. So when I install it, I'm just going to locate and plug in the new unit. Want to make sure that the wire is plugged in nice and secure. And that snaps back up into the little clips up in there. And this is once again located in the front left wheel well of the car. So the first thing I am going to do is erase my fault codes. It's going to ask me yes. And the system comes up clean. So I've just rescanned the system after changing the antenna, and now we only have 2 codes. We have the front left and the rear left transmitter code coming up, and it looks like it has taken care of the 604E code that was coming up. So let's get all the wheels on it, set the pressures, and I'll take it out for a drive. So we've changed the main RDC antenna, which has solved one of our codes, but I still have 2 other codes. And those codes are the left front and the left rear wheel sensors. Now, this car is fitted with sensors that transmit when the car's not turning, and what their purpose is to kind of wake up the tire transmitters. So what I did is, on the first one, the left front is right here. And what I found with this one was that the plug was unplugged. When I went to try and plug it back in, the rubber seal was so dry, because it had been unplugged for so long, that it wouldn't snap all the way back into the sensor. And I had to apply a little bit of silicone grease to the seal to make sure it could snap all the way in and lock in place without falling off. So the sensor on the left rear is a different story. You can see under all the dirt, there's a little bit of accident damage here. It doesn't look too bad. But when we go ahead and pull our in a fender back, we can see this is our sensor right here. So when there was an accident, this whole plastic piece moved in. It's actually crushed into the body a little bit. But here's our sensor where it's just grenaded the top of it and snapped it off. So here's a pretty obvious failure that's a mechanical failure in that it was mechanically damaged by whatever ran into the back of the car. So we're going to have to order a new sensor for this one, see if we can kind of move this back out so we can mount the new sensor back in, and that should probably solve most of our tire pressure problems. So I've just cleared my codes after plugging in the front sensor and then restarted the car, let it run through its warm-up cycle, and now we only have one code left on our tire pressure, which is our rear left sensor that we haven't replaced yet. So looks like we're on the way to getting it sorted out. So we finished repairing our tire pressure codes. We had 3 codes. We had a left front wheel sensor code, a left rear wheel sensor code, and an antenna code. So here's the 2 parts that we ended up changing. This was our left rear wheel sensor, and this is a transmit that tells the tire pressure sensor to wake up. This one was accident damage. You can see it was crashed there, the plug was broken off. So I put a new one of these in. On the left front, it was just a connection issue where the plug wouldn't plug in correctly. And the other code that we had was our actual antenna piece. So all of those pieces are replaced now. And now when I go ahead, bring up my dash, we're just going to go ahead and start the car. And we no longer have any tire pressure warnings coming up at all. If we scroll through on our computer access and we come to our reset, I'm just going to press reset, and it's going to now say active instead of non-active. And what it's doing right now is it's measuring all of the tire pressures that we've set, and it's recording those tire pressures. So as soon as that is complete, which it is now, we are ready to drive. And that wraps up our tire pressure warning light problems.